Hi there folks, and welcome to another Power Rangers Super Megaforce episode review. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce you to someone. This is my assistant, KAIZOKU. Reviewing Power Rangers episodes is a lot of work, so KAIZOKU here helps me with things like taking notes, editing video, etc. That's right, we really work together as a team in order to bring you the best possible Power Rangers Super Megaforce episode reviews that we can. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank KAIZOKU for all of his help. Thanks, KAIZOKU? KAIZOKU? Oh man, where did he go? KAIZOKU! KAIZOKU? Where are you? Whoa! Whoa! Easy, KAIZOKU. Easy. Easy. Whoa! Man, are you alright, little buddy? Okay, good. Let's go back inside. Whew! Well, with that adventure out of the way, let's take a look at the 10th episode of Super Megaforce, The Perfect Storm. Oh, KAIZOKU, can you bring in the Zords?
Summon Zords.
Thanks! First of all, a quick note. This episode is primarily about this guy, Tensou. And yes, I pronounce it Tensou, as in Tensou what? I pronounce it that way. I've been hearing online that it's pronounced Tensou, but seeing as they get the name from Tensou Sentai Gosei, I'm gonna stick with that. Also, special thanks to Jacob, who shall otherwise go unnamed, for providing a YouTube link to this Hulu Plus exclusive episode. So yes, this hasn't aired yet, we're once again in spoiler territory. Interestingly enough, it was raining while I was writing this review script because this episode starts, shockingly, with a storm. Up with the Armada, the car says it's perfect to activate Vrock's power crystal. A Vrock reference? But I'm sure he'll never come up again. Damara says everything's being taken care of by Sajinger? It took me until the credits to realize that it's actually Sir Jinker, but it hardly matters. After a beautiful shot of the command center in a storm, Tensou decides to go outside and check the communication circuits. Gosei says, "Careful, it's gonna rain." Tensou says he'll be fine. So of course Tensou gets struck by lightning, loses his memory, and wanders off. I really did like the CGI in this scene though. He really looks like he's climbing those rocks. Noah walks into Ernie's with an umbrella and Troy goes, "What's with the umbrella?" Does anyone ever say this? No. You see somebody with an umbrella and you go, "Oh, is it raining?" Ernie says the Froyo machine is broken and this is the worst news these teens have ever gotten in their entire lives. Gosei calls the Rangers and asks them to get his pet Tensou back. Two notes on this. One, we're back to using Gosei morphers as communicators again. Yay! The other is that when Gosei calls, Troy says, "What is it, Gosei?" Tensou's normally the one that calls the Rangers, so Troy shouldn't have automatically known that it was Gosei. Tensou rolls into what looks like a real New Zealand city. He's inserted in CGI and they toss in a throwaway line about everybody being too busy with their lives to see him. Listen, I don't care if I'm running late to work or even getting married. I'm gonna notice a 3-foot-tall robot rolling down the street. Emma finally spots Tensou, who has seen a suitcase that looks remarkably similar to him, and tries to talk to it. It's a bit of a stretch with a weird handle and some larger wheels, but it was funny. But just as Emma goes to grab Tensou, a man grabs Tensou instead of the suitcase and gets on the bus. I have a feeling hijinks are about to ensue. Shouldn't Tensou have been heavier than the suitcase? Maybe the suitcase had a robot in it. This is going to sound like a petty complaint, but I assure you it's not. Emma calls the other Rangers and says some man in a tan raincoat took Tensou. But he's not wearing the raincoat, he's carrying it. Why is that important? Because she's describing the man who has Tensou. Details are important in a case like that. Honestly, this episode features some great teamwork between the Rangers and we get some nice location names. We also get some really good looking footage, like this amazing overhead shot. That is beautiful. Jake uses his hitherto unmentioned parkour skills to try to catch up with the bus. After some more parkouring, he does catch the bus, gets on, and grabs a receipt? Again, this episode just gives me the feeling that they went into a New Zealand city and just started filming. I mean, they probably filled this bus with extras, but it's likely a real New Zealand bus because I've never gotten on a bus and just grabbed a receipt. Jake starts to walk down the aisle of the bus going, where is he? I don't know, maybe he's that large thing in the middle of the aisle with a tan raincoat on its head? There is no comedy like one of error, so of course the woman sitting next to Jake confuses Tensou with Achu and starts going on to him about her allergies. This distracts Jake while the man and Tensou get off the bus. He gets off the bus about half a block later, but he's lost the guy. The Rangers contemplate opening the suitcase, but decide not to since they don't have permission. Then Gia calls and says that the man has Tensou at the mall. Come on, really? The man just happened to end up at the mall so we can see the one set that we see in every episode? To be fair, we do at least see a different part of the mall, as 3 of the Rangers go upstairs while Gia stays downstairs and tries to make the switch. Meanwhile, Noah calls with a problem. The problem is that the Armada woke up from their nap and remembered there was something they were supposed to be doing. Troy asks if Noah and Orion can handle the situation, and they say they can. So why call in the first place? You know the others are still looking for Tensou, so just handle it. Oh! Hey, straight to super mega mode morph. We'll get back to this later. Trust me. The monster says he has a mission on Mount Tenova. Cool, another location name, but enunciate, dude. Noah and Orion crack their fists and run into battle. So let's get back to Tensou, because I know when you turned your TVs to Power Rangers Super Megaforce, you obviously wanted to see what happens to Tensou. It finally takes Jake asking this guy what time it is, which does cleverly get him to take his hand off of Tensou, to pull the switch. Tensou is scared and confused, but Troy steals a baby carriage and they wheel him out. Freaking Mighty Morphin Green Ranger jumping at ya! The monster, Simply Green or whatever his name is, drops his power prism, but picks it back up and then vanishes. Noah gives us a clear pronunciation of Mount Edenova. The monster finds Brock's power mid. Huh? He drops the prism in the what's-it and starts charging up. The Rangers meet up and... Go Megaforce! Let me drop my cherished and valuable reviewer integrity for just a moment. I now absolutely hate the Megaforce suits. Not so much for what they are, but what they represent. Meaninglessness, an unnecessary extra step that's taken whenever the director decides that some original footage might be good. You honestly give us a Megaforce morph in the same episode where Noah goes straight to Super Mega Mode and Orion is going straight to Super Mega Mode right next to them? Gah! And the entire purpose of that fight was for Tensou to run away, so he could hit his head on a tree and give us a super tropey ending to that whole amnesia thing. He reboots and remembers who he is. So let's go get that monster by instamorphing into Megaforce again. Oh, and let's do that weird ghost shadow run thing we did before. Time for a little Ranger math. Gosei tells the Rangers that if the monster absorbs all the power from the power mid, he'll be too strong for even them to beat. Plus, the monster says, I'm full of power. So, 1 plus 2 equals he should be too strong for the Rangers to beat now. The Rangers get to the monster and go Super Mega Mode because their Megaforce suits are basically their running shoes now. It's weird seeing the Gosei suits use Mobiritz. I know that's a Sentai thing, but still. Troy says it's time for Legendary Squadron Mode. Ooh, what's that? Well, here's a hint. Orion turns into Mighty Morphin White Ranger. That's right, it's Die Ranger. This is a little confusing, seeing as they don't always say team name mode. But basically, folks, Die Ranger is now Legendary Squadron. And seeing as Die Ranger used legendary creatures like the Ho-Oh, I actually kind of love that name. What came after the Mighty Morphin Zords? The Die Ranger Zords. What came after the Mighty Morphin Seasons? Zeo. Well, Alien for half a season, but anyway, yes, the 6 Rangers turn into Zeo and use a dynamite attack on the monster, who seems to explode. Wait a second. That could be genius! Remember my Ranger math, how I said the monster should be too strong? Well, Orion says, let's use the power of the Zeo Crystal. If using these powers really does tap into the real Zeo Crystal, which as far as we know is intact somewhere, then its perpetual energy building should give the Rangers more than enough power to destroy this monster. That is, if it had destroyed the monster. Sadly, it didn't. He uses his infinite cosmic power to call an asteroid down towards Earth. Shaking in my boots here. Vakar makes the monster grow, though funny enough, his generals try to stop him, because, you know, he's still winning. Orion needed to step away for coffee, so the other Rangers take us back in time a little bit, calling out the Red Lion and forming the legendary Samurai Megazord. I'm not positive about this, but I think they added a CGI sequence of him spinning his blade. And then, in a mirror of last week's episode, this time it's the Q-Rex that appears out of nowhere, literally dropping from the sky. The Rangers destroy the monster rather quickly with the Samurai Fire Smasher Final Strike, but he says the Rangers have sealed their fate, pointing up to the asteroid. It will hit the Earth in exactly 57 seconds, says Gosei. Geez, Mr. Spurious Rigger. Are you and Fee cousins? What's your plan, Troy? Blast it into space dust! Ah, proud graduate of the Carter Grayson School of Red Rangering. Alas, that doesn't work. Orion thinks that his drill can break the asteroid, but he needs a way to get up there. Noah suggests throwing him. I mean, sure, why not? What else do you expect him to do? Revert his Megazord into some kind of, say, drill ship? So they fling the Q-Rex up there because it looks cool, and Orion performs his triple drill attack. Except that Dino mode, and especially drill ship mode, were apparently upset Megazord mode was hogging all the glory, and they don't show up. So Tensou's safe and sound back in the command cave with a brand new mirror to play with. Oh yeah, earlier in the episode he saw himself in a window while he was wandering and said that he looked handsome. Gosei says the mirror should keep Tensou busy and him entertained. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tiki Head has a personality! Back at Ernie's, because who has one ending scene when you could have two, we get our Ain't Life Funny moment. The froyo is flowing again, and thank goodness, because these teenagers might have literally died without frozen yogurt. And we find out that the repairman was the dude with the Tensou suitcase. Of course, because all repairmen go to messy repair jobs in business suits and ride the bus instead of using their own trucks. This episode was like a tennis match of emotion. Every time something good would happen and I got excited, something bad would happen and bring me right back down. Every time I started getting down on the episode, something fun and exciting happened to perk me right back up. Hoist the colors? Yeah? Episode 10, The Perfect Storm. Pros: Legendary Squadron was handled quite well. The episode has some comedy that really works. Cons: far too much attention to the Tensou storyline. The show seems to forget some of its own tools, and we get 2 Megaforce morphs in the same episode as a Super Mega Instamorph. A little improvement, but not much. The perfect storm gets 2 flags out of 5. An important thing to remember while watching this episode is that the Gokaiger episode it adapted had a very Japanese storyline, so they needed something to fill in for that. The thing is, why use this episode at all? You're making 20 episodes out of nearly 50. Nothing in the Gokaiger episode that happens is new or exciting. Did Tensou's voice actor have a minimum line quota that you weren't going to meet? So onward down the road of Super Megaforce we travel. This episode is going to air Saturday, September 6th on Nick, and unlike Power of 6, I can actually at least recommend you watch this one. Then make sure to tune in on Saturday, September 13th for episode 11, Love is in the Air. Although it may air earlier if the past 2 weeks have been any indication. When a love potion accidentally makes the evil Levira fall in love with Jake, a jealous alien targets him for destruction. If you're familiar even somewhat with Gokaiger, this should seem somewhat familiar. KAIZOKU, why don't you handle this one?
Thanks so much for watching the review. Check out some of our other reviews. Subscribe to the channel to see other reviews and videos when they come out. And share this with the Ranger Faithful. Thanks again for watching, and may the power protect you. Shutting down.